Chris, what is our third main topic today?
This one comes from the Geeky Gator. Entertainment Tonight just put out a featurette video of the upcoming She-Hulk show, and I feel like we just learned a lot more about the show than we have in the previous 2 trailers. They show the origin of her powers has been changed from the comics. Wong looks like he's fighting the creatures from Shang-Chi, a Power Ranger, and some guy that looks like he's using a version of the 10 Rings. Did you see the video, and what did you think of it?
All right, thanks a lot for sending that in. And yeah, listen, we've been talking for a while. I am very excited about the She-Hulk show, and I don't care what anybody else says. I think it's going to be fun. And I said from the beginning, like, I'm not big on derivative characters, so when they announced it, I wasn't super excited, but I did say, long time ago, long time ago, I said, you know what? I don't think they'll do this, but if they take the approach at She-Hulk of being a Marvel's version of Ally McBeal, and they take that approach, that could be really fun, and then I'd be interested. And then they put out the first trailer for it, and I'm like, oh my God, that's exactly what they're doing. And at that point, I became completely on board. So then, of course, they dropped a new trailer. I thought it looked great, a lot of fun. But this new video that they just dropped by Entertainment Tonight gives us, I think, more looks, and I think you're right. I think it gives us kind of a better, clear picture of the show itself than the trailers themselves did. Starting with the big thing, which now in the comics, they've decided to deviate a bit from the comics, because in the comics, she gets her powers because of a blood transfusion that she gets from her cousin Bruce. It's similar, but different. It looks like her and Bruce are in a car accident together, and they're all banged up and cut up, and I guess his blood gets into her, and that's how that happens. But the most fascinating thing about that shot, though, Bruce is in human form.
Yep.
Now, this has been a little confusing because, of course, in Avengers Endgame, I'm always in this form now. This is permanent form. But then at the post-credit scene of Shang-Chi, he's back in his human form. Then in all the trailers we see in She-Hulk, we only see him as Professor Hulk again. But now in this shot, we see that he is back in Bruce form. So the question that stands up is the post-credit scene of Shang-Chi confirmed that he can go back and forth between his Bruce form and his Hulk form now? Or are they saying that that car accident happened before the events of Endgame? And that's when she got his blood at that point. So I don't know which way they're going to go with that. I hope they're saying he can transform back and forth between Bruce and Professor Hulk. That would be great. And then you pointed out a couple of very interesting images, because you're right. The monsters we see, I don't know if we've got a shot of that, Jonathan, but we see Wong fighting these winged creatures, right? Or there's the Power Ranger. But we see Wong fighting these little winged creatures. And you're right. My first thought as well was, oh my God, they're the little demon creatures from Shang-Chi. It's like they're here. So what I did was I freeze framed that, and then I went over to Disney Plus and I went to the end of Shang-Chi, and they are different. Because the ones in Shang-Chi, while they do look very similar, the ones in Shang-Chi also have like 6 or 7 or 8 tentacles, right?
One of our chatters, Theme Park Horizon, says car accident happened after Endgame because of his arm cast.
Yeah.
Oh,
he still has the sling.
Yeah, he's in the sling.
Perfect observation. So yes, clearly it happens after the events of Endgame. So he clearly can go back and forth between that. Thank you. I'm glad you noticed that. Sherlock here. We totally should have noticed that. So well pointed out. So yeah, there you go. It happens after the events of Endgame. So those creatures are not the creatures from Shang-Chi because the tentacles are missing and all that kind of stuff. But it does bring up an interesting question. It's like, okay, so now it's not just She-Hulk, the lawyer, dealing with the superhuman community now. There's like demonic supernatural influences going on here. Maybe more multiverse stuff or other dimensional creatures. Who knows? Green Power Ranger from another universe. I don't know what the deal is with that guy. What did you say, Ray, that he looks more like? I said he looks like a Power Ranger. You said he looked like. What'd you say?
Oh, Kick-Ass.
Frogman.
Someone from Kick-Ass.
Oh yeah, he looked. Yeah,
Frogman.
He's Frogman.
he's Frogman. Yeah, you're right. That looks like a
He's
Kick-Ass
Frogman.
costume. Not Kick-Ass himself, but that looks like a Kick-Ass costume. From that,
Gene Palpatino.
Who is it?
So in some of the Spider-Man comics, there's a character named Frogman who's got like this little tum-tum and everything. But that's who I think that is.
Well, that guy's got a six-pack. That's no tum-tum.
Well, because I mean, they have to make him a little sexier for Jennifer.
He's very
sexy for Jennifer.
That's a sexy frogman.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's that, and then near the end, again feeling like a Shang-Chi movie in many ways, we see a character who I'll be straight up, I don't know who it is. Asian actor with doing something like what you would be doing with the 10 rings, but it wasn't the rings. It looked like some kind of gauntlet or whatever. I'm not quite sure what that was, but he pulls that out. Again, a lot more Wong in it than I thought. Like I was kind of thinking Wong was going to pop up, do a cameo as he's been doing lately and then leave. But it looks like maybe he has a more, I don't think he's going to be in all 9 episodes, but it looks like
he's credited in all 9 episodes.
Do they credit him in all 9?
I mean, according to IMDb. But that doesn't necessarily mean it. He could have a contract of all episodes produced, but he's not. We don't actually see him.
It lists him as
as all 9 episodes. So we're going to be seeing a lot of Wong. Are you ready for a lot of Wong? Because you're going to get it.
That is just-tastic. That is the best news I've heard today. I was just happy we're going to get a little bit. You guys know I love Benedict Wong in this franchise. You put more of him in it, the better. So that's great news to me. Anyway, I love this video footage. It was great to see. Interesting how they're changing some of the things up. Chris, you had a chance to see the footage. What stood out to you?
I mean, the origin story changing is fantastic. I think that's really, really great because we were going to start off on a much darker note if we went to her original origin story. We've touched on that on the show here. In the comics, she's shot. She's shot by a crime lord, basically by Trask, not the one who does the Sentinels, but a different Trask. Right. And so then she has to get that blood transfusion. So this kicks us off. A car accident isn't fun by any means, but it's a much less severe injury, right, than diving in that way. So I love that. The fact that Frogman is in this, or it possibly is in this, is bananas to me. Because what a weird character. He's clumsy. He's got coils in his feet. He's a neighborhood superhero. Why is he here? And does he need a lawyer? You know, I'm really excited to see that. And of course, give us all the Benedict Wong. Love him.
We want to take a second to thank the sponsor of today's episode, the new Peacock series, The Resort. In Peacock's must-see new series, there's more than just trouble in paradise. There's a flip phone, a disappearance, and a suspiciously timed hurricane. The Resort, a new Peacock original from the creators of Palm Springs and Mr. Robot, is an unexpected exploration of how love, marriage, and family can be a real trip. When a couple finds an old flip phone in the jungle on an anniversary getaway, they are unknowingly pulled into an unsolved mystery, a bizarre case that went cold 15 years prior when a once-in-a-century storm wiped away all evidence. This journey through the Mayan Riviera will take you from the edge of your seat to the depths of human experience and back again. Starring William Jackson Harper, Kristen Milioti, Luis Gerardo Mendez, and Nick Offerman, The Resort is streaming July 28th only on Peacock. What did you think about the trailer here?
You know what, I have to say, the first trailer I was a little on the fence about. It was maybe a little too Sex in the City for me, and I was a huge Sex in the City. I mean, we had Sex in the City Sundays. I was in it to win it. But I was just like, I'm just not really sure. I think I was just having trouble getting into the tone of it because it seemed like such a departure from the tone of so many of the other shows that some of the other Marvel shows. But now, especially after seeing Miss Marvel and the way that each show really has its own world that they're developing, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get on board with this. And this trailer really solidified that for me, of expanding on that world, showing her as a more fully fleshed out character versus just the sort of flat, why don't I have a boyfriend? And as you pointed out, that was me for, most of my 20s and 30s. So you're right. It's truth. But I also love that we are getting to see a little bit more of the supporting cast of this, whether it's, Wong or Jamila Jamil, which, speaking of which, hey, this is her episode of the John Campea Show, because she's also voicing a character in DC's Super Life, Secret Life of Super Pets?
Secret Life of Super Pets?
Secret Life of Super Pets.
The League of Super Pets.
The League of Super Pets.
The
Thank
Secret
you.
Life
Yes.
of Super Pets. That's
yes.
perfect.
So, Jamila Jamil is also having a really standout year. It's just a fantastic cast. And I love that they also were including bits of the interviews with Kevin Feige and some of the directors and some of the producers, and really showing what all went into this. I'm much more excited about She-Hulk than I was before. And I also do like the idea of her, them kind of jumping in. It's a car crash. Okay, now we're telling the story. We're not going to spend too much time with a complicated, potentially convoluted backstory of how she became this. We're just going to go, okay, now she's She-Hulk, and we're moving on.
Yeah.
So I
She's
do
She-Hulk
like that.
because reasons.
Yeah,
Yep.
and
Because
but that doesn't
recent-
matter. That's not the story we're telling moving forward. And I love how much we're seeing Hulk and hopefully more of Bruce as well. I'm a big Mark Ruffalo fan. I find his Hulk so endearing, and I really like that they're gonna have that character much more involved than what I thought it was gonna be, instead of also just a pop in, pop out. But like he's really part. We see him training her. You know, I'm a big fan of that.
I wonder if we're going to see a round 2 of Hulk versus Abomination. And if they do, I'm not saying they are, but if they did in this show, I wonder if there will be a line from Emil of, "You look different." Because of course, Ed Norton Jr. was playing the character when the last time these two
That
characters
totally
fought.
seems like the kind of thing they do in this.
It does kind of seem like, especially in a show that is completely open with the fourth wall breaking.
Yeah.
So I kind of hope they do. Anyway, Ray,
I just wanted to ask, do you see that as a good sign that Kevin Feige's in that video? Meaning maybe he had more of his hands in this. You said like he wanted to stay out of a lot of things now.
well, it's not that he wants to stay out of things. It's just that with so many projects going on, he can no longer be directly involved with the shows more. So he has to be more hands off with a lot of them. It was encouraging to see him pop up in this, but again, it's just a promo piece.
Right.
So I mean, we don't know how involved he was in it. I hope it was a lot, but anyway, guys, question is for you. Did you have a chance to see this Entertainment Tonight featurette on She-Hulk? I thought it was great. What did you think about it? What do you think about them doing a little bit of change in the origins of her powers? I think it makes sense and fits with what the show is. Maybe you have a different thought. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and leave those thoughts there.